Today I'm going to smash together 2 iconic characters, scratch that 3 iconic characters, because I'm going to use the shell from this 2007 Mikey Happy Meal toy. This is a Jason I got off AliExpress, and he's missing his shirt, which I don't need the shirt, but it would be dope if he had a shirt that I could take off and use on someone else. I'm also using a Raph that I got in a 4-pack from AliExpress of NECA knockoffs. So I heat them up and I start to take them apart. I cut off that shell and then I cut off the mask, and then I took all the pieces apart, but you don't need to see everything. I broke the torso off, so I glued that down. Now I have some 2mm foam that I'm getting the inside of the shell so that it just fits better on his back, and then the bottom that I cut off, that's going to be covered by the pants that I'm going to like sculpt over it, so it doesn't need to look good or anything. It's just, yeah, so then I glue that down to the back. Now the torso is not going to move, but if you had a shell, that part wouldn't move anyway. You can just move your arms and your legs and your head. So I have Apoxie Sculpt now, and I'm just starting on the sides, and I add some details, just a bunch of lines. And I start at the top of the chest and kind of give that some definition, and then add more, but that wasn't enough, so I add a little more to get all the, well, to 3 sections of his undershoot, or the other word, or chest is my favorite because it's the easiest to say. And now I'm sanding the face. I want to have some dents and stuff, but also it'll help the paint stick better. And then I dug with that stone tool that I smoothed it out with into his teeth, so he's missing some teeth. And then I started with the Apoxie Sculpt on his head, so I'd give him some new brows, and then like a bump on the front and a bump on the back, because Jason has hydrocephalus, or hydrocephalus, not syphilis. It's not a sexually transmitted disease. He was born with hydrocephalus, which is water that makes your skull grow big and weird. Yeah, that's why he was bullied. And so we're learning about the curse of Friday the 13th as well. Now I'm sanding some scars and definition into his shell, even though you're not going to see his shell because I'm going to put the jacket back on. That's why I use such a thin, small shell. Now I'm doing, because the feet don't fit in to the legs like the turtle feet, so I just added some toes sticking out, so now they're the same size as the turtle feet, and they have turtle toes, so you know that they're turtle feet. And they're bigger, so it'll help balance him a little better with, he has the big shell on his back, or just any shell on his back. Makes them back heavy. So it's a common problem, turtles falling backwards. I don't know about, if in real life, if the turtle stood up on 2 legs, he would probably have problems like that too. So I was just gonna reshape the mask he came with, but I had some extra Apoxie Sculpt, and I was like, what should I do with it? And I decided it was just enough to make a mask. So I made 2 eye holes, and I'm just guessing, and then that's some parchment paper on a round, it's like a muddler, just so it'll get a curved shape. Now I'm covering all the places, well, everything pretty much, with the matte acrylic varnish. That's going to work as my primer. And so I got pretty much the shape of the mask, but I wasn't planning on doing it, so I didn't have any drawings. I'm just hoping the eyes go in the right place. Now this is some black and red and blue that I use for Donnie's pants, and I'm just getting the frayed part of the shoes where his toes are sticking out. Then I add a bunch of red to that. It was a deep red and a bright red because it wasn't red enough, but it's still too purple. But I'm gonna go over that with another coat of a darker color. So I add some black, and now it looks like black and red kinda. You can see mostly black, but you can see kind of a red shine to it or something. A little bit of the red came through is I guess what I was trying to say. This is a hunter green that I'm doing my base coat of green just to blend everything together and to have a dark undercoat, and it's pretty much the color that he already was. So it just going over his arms, covering the weird spots that he had, and then in the neck and the arm area. Plus on the sides and the back of the shell I go with this same hunter green as just a base coat, because I'm going to add a bunch of different colors, but the front shell is going to be more of the beige tone. This is a thicket green, and it's just a darker green, so I just went in the main grooves or depths of the shell on his chest to make those parts the darkest. and then I also went on the back of the shell and the sides. Now I have a burnt umber, and now I'm going in all the cracks on the front of his shell there, or plastron. And then I decide once I have this brown out, might as well dirty up his shoes, and then back to little bits of his shell. So I'm mostly in the cracks, but a little bit over the rest of the chest just to give it that dark color. And then dry brushing on the back of the shell and the sides of the shell, and on the bottom of his pants, or just all over his pants, because he's like been in the mud and in the woods and stalking people and stuff. Yeah. Now I have raw sienna, and first I dry brush on the toenails that I had sculpted in, but you can't see them now, or maybe not ever, but they're there. And I'm dry brushing, but I'm doing a lot because I want to cover the whole front of the shell except for the cracks. And I also dry brush on the sides and the back of the shell a little bit to have it all a unifying color going around, I guess. And I have daffodil yellow, and I'm dry brushing just a little bit all over the shell to bring out even more of the little details and stuff that I put in. And then it just catch a little on the edges, and it'll really make everything pop out more. Now I fill in that hole that I drilled in his teeth with some black, and I'm dry brushing. This is a leaf green, and I'm just lightly dry brushing all over his skin to give it some depth and brighter color, lighter. Yeah, it's a lighter green. But by dry brushing, you can see the two different arms. I think it's a lot closer to an actual neck paint job with just a little bit of dry brushing. But I ended up doing it to both the arms, of course, to make them match and to match his head. And this is a little, I guess, pouch that Jason had, and I just drilled some holes in it with my hand drill so that the screwdriver fits in. Now I'm using my cordless Dremel to sand his mask a little, so it's a little thinner in the part that goes over his like beak and cheeks, because they pop out more. And I mixed some white with the brown and raw sienna that was already there to get this yellowish, aged, dirty white color. Well, it's more like beige, but pretty much the color of his mask. Now, after that dries, I grab some white. Well, I'm just trying to get the white that's already left in there that I didn't mix together to dry brush a little white onto the mask, but it wasn't enough, so I add some more white, and I'm dry brushing it still on the mask, but doing a better job because I have enough of the color that I need. And so that's, I mean, in real life it would have been white and then aged to the yellow, but I went backwards to get the same look. Now I cover everything again with the matte acrylic varnish. This time it's to seal all the paint that I painted. The first time was to make the paint stick. And now it's time, I guess, to do some detail work. I'm using a toothpick because that's my favorite paintbrush to do the design on his mask in the deep red. And so it's a little more spaced out, but my mask is wider, so I had to. And I think it still looks like a Jason mask, just wider. That one's round, so I didn't really go off that at all. But now to make the jacket fit, I cut it up a lot, and because it really needs to stretch around that shell, and add some extra frayed pieces with pieces that I cut out. For the mask, it's red suede lace, and I just glue it down 3 strands. And I tried tying it up together in the back because I want that back of the bandana look, but that didn't work, so I glue it together with super glue, and then I tie a knot to get that bandana look, and it goes on his head like that. Wow. So this is 2 iconic characters smashing together. Raph Voorhees from the Slashin TMNT 90s Playmates toys, but this is my version, and he's a beast and a monster, and I think he's pretty cool. Next week is Leatherface, so until then, remember, always keep your head up. Peace. Oh, this is Donnie Kruger, so I made him last week, but thanks for watching. Peace.